ReCalibur, eco-tools and youth work for collective creativity.
Hi, welcome to this ReCalibur video tutorial on a method called Dixit Guesser. It is always interesting to learn about the people who come together for the first time. So many characters, skill combinations and stories are behind each one. In order to get to know one another better and reflect how others perceive you and what first impressions you make, a facilitator can choose to use this ice-breaking activity. This method can be used in a group of 4+ people. The duration is 20 to 30 minutes for running the activity and 10 to 15 for the debriefing. Regarding materials and setup, you will need a deck of metaphorical cards, 32 cards per small group of 4 players. Prepared small group areas with a flat surface to play on. Once the participants arrive, divide them into groups of 4 and hand out a deck of at least 32 metaphorical cards per group. Participants then draw 4 cards each to start the activity. The facilitator reads out a question. For example, what is your most dominant characteristic? And everyone chooses one of the cards that represents their answer best and places the card on the table face down. After all cards are placed, one of the players turns the card over and listens to peers guessing what is the person's most dominant characteristic and what symbol gives it away on the card. Once this brief discussion is over, the person who turned the card briefly explains what their answer really is and what the symbol they chose. The activity continues with the next person flipping their card. Once the round is finished, players draft one more card from the deck and a new question comes from the facilitator. The question is chosen from the predefined list or is proposed by the group itself, and the activity continues in the same way. The activity is over when planned time runs out or 4 or 5 rounds are played. At the end of the activity, you can ask some questions and facilitate space of sharing some of the most fascinating stories. You can then ask a few debriefing questions to open up the topic of personal stories and perception of one another. You can ask questions like, how did it feel to be assumed of? Or how did it feel to assume someone's story? What were the most interesting findings about yourself? Or how do people perceive you? Same as you expect, or were there some surprises? I find Dixit Guesser as a simple way to get to know each other through stories and well-known metaphorical cards. It makes learners excited to guess and then unravel stories of one another. It is also a great gateway to learning about each other later in the program, based on the unfinished stories from this activity. This is not a complex method and can be used by a youth worker with any level of experience.
ReCalibur, eco-tools and youth work for collective creativity, is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission through the Slovak national agency Nava.